Types of nuts. Hex nuts. Hex is short for hexagon, referencing the six sides of the nut. These nuts feature internal threading and are commonly used with machine thread, bolts and screws in applications where no locking mechanism is required. Nylon insert lock nut. A nylon nut, also referred to as a nylon insert lock nut, polymer insert lock nut or elastic stop nut, is a kind of lock nut with a nylon collar that increases friction on the screw thread. Jam nut. A jam nut is a thinner than average nut tightened against the standard height nut to lock the two nuts in a place. Installed correctly, a jam nut resists loosening due to vibration better than a single lock nut. Nylon insert jam lock nut. A jam nut is a thinner than average nut tightened against a standard height nut to lock the two nuts in a place. Installed correctly, a jam nut resists loosening due to vibration better than a single lock nut. Wing nut. A wing nut is a nut with a wing that provides a grip for the thumb and the finger. The wing nut on the handle is tightened to secure the blade in the measured position. Cap nut. A closed nut having a dome like a cap over the back, protruding part of the engaged screw or bolt. ACORN nut. ACORN nut is a nut that has a dome end and one side. When used together with a threaded fastener with an external male thread, the domed end encloses the external thread either to protect the thread or to protect nearby objects from contact with the thread. In addition, the dome gives a more finished appearance. Flange nut. A flange nut looks like a standard hex nut from one side, but the bottom is widened into a circular flange, creating a bell-like shape. Manufacturers serrate the bearing surface of the flange to create serrated flange nuts, allowing for a better grip on the surface of the joint. T-nut. A T-nut is a type of nut used to fasten a wood, particle or a composite material workpiece, leaving a flush surface. Square nut. A square nut is a four-sided nut. Compared to standard hex nuts, square nuts have a greater surface in contact with the part being fastened and therefore provide greater resistance to loosening. They are also much less likely to become rounded off after repeated tightening of the nut. Prevailing torque lock nut. A lock nut is a nut that resists loosening under vibrations and torque. Prevailing torque nuts have some portion of the nut that deforms elastically to provide a locking action. K-lock or cap nut. Cap nut is a nut with an attached free spinning washer. It is used to make assembly more convenient. The locking action is achieved when the nut is tightened against a bearing surface as the teeth of the lock washer dig into it. A two-way reversible lock nut. A two-way reversible lock nut is a hex nut with two or three round or rectangular indentations compressed onto the flat sides of the nut, equidistant from each other. Coupling nut. A coupling nut, also known as extension nut, is a threaded fastener for joining two male threads, most commonly a threaded rod, or also pipes. The outside of the diameter is usually a hex, so a wrench can be held. Slotted nut. Slotted nuts are used in applications where vibrations or torque might unfasten the assembly. They are a kind of lock nut that can be used interchangeably with the castle nuts in most applications. Castle nut. A castle nut is a nut with a slot cut into one end. The name comes from the nut's resemblance to the crenellated parapet of a medieval castle. Castle nuts are sometimes referred to incorrectly as a